The bliss of the abyss, it's here now.
Willkommen, and here we are again with the bliss of the abyss. My name is Ruskin Denmark, although my birth name was Robert Neumark Jones. But what's in a name? A rose by any other name would smell so sweet. Here we are again with another episode of the bliss of the abyss, and this time we've got a bit more of a thespian tilt. On the show today is Theo St. Clair, who I went to drama school with, and is a fantastic actor, very talented young man. I say young man because I'm a little bit older than him, so everything I say is slightly more important than everything he says. And this episode, we get into it. We get into all kinds of stuff. Actually, we don't talk as much about acting, even though Theo is in the new Apple TV show Foundation, streaming now on Apple TV. We kind of talk about everything. It gets a bit heavy at times, so a little bit of a trigger warning up top. This is one of the deeper episodes that I've had, and there's occasional sort of audio troubles on Theo's end, but you know what? Doesn't matter, and I promise you, it's worth persevering because what he's got to say is actually really life-affirming. Actually, ultimately, against some pretty significant challenges, and it's a recurring theme actually that's happened on this show and outside of the show. People I've spoke to, and myself to a degree, who've really had to deal with some very difficult things with lockdown. Obviously, I play it down, but the curtailing of my career at just the very moment it was going to jump off haunts me to this day. And Theo was in a similar position and found himself similarly distraught and desperate. And as you'll hear, that led him down some very dark paths. But I'm very glad that I could talk to him today and show you that there is light and there is hope, and that this beautiful human found a beautiful way of dealing with things, even if it does involve living in a backwater. Love you, Theo. Anyway, stick around for this fantastic episode between myself and Theo St. Clair. Hello.
Hello, mate. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm going to warn you now. My voice is feeling.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, man. I've had some heavy ones like the last couple of weeks. So
what have you been doing?
It's all been worth it. Well, it's okay. So it started with I've been hanging out at Blondie's, a dive bar in Clapham. One of my friends works there. She's doing like booking for them, and she works behind the bar sometimes as well. But the vibe there was just amazing. One night, I bumped into Deal with Dolphin. He's like a tattoo artist who I've been following on Instagram for a couple of years. And I've not got a tattoo, but me and my little brother have been talking about him literally the day that I met him.
Yeah.
So I met him on this night at Blondie's, had a mad night with him. And at the end of the night, he was like, next week I am doing like a event for 19 Crimes, the wine brand,
Right.
They're giving out like free tattoos based on 18th century prison tattoos. And it was like, bro, come down and you can get a tattoo. So I was like, cool, great, love it. So the following week. So I went to go and do that, and I ended up staying in a queue for like 11 hours, standing on my feet, waiting for the tattoo. I ended up doing like crowd control for the PR team because they haven't really planned some bits and pieces out. So I was like there all day, making friends, talking to security, fucking like drinking a little bit, but just like helping them out as well and trying to solve their problems. So they booked me in for the next day at 11 o'clock. Got my tattoo. I the next day, and ended up going out again. Like, you know what it is? I've been out of London as well. Like, I've moved out of London to Bedford, so
Right.
when I'm down here, like, things just happen, and I enjoy them too much, and I miss all my people. And now that the world is like not all fucking crazy,
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. But I'm doing Sober October. I'll be all right.
It sounds like that might be a good move. Yeah, you're burning the
Mate,
candle
I
at
think it
all
has
three
to
ends.
happen. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's
But
exciting.
it's all useful shit. It's useful shit, and
Yeah.
good networking. I'm trying to sort out what I'm doing alongside the acting. For ages, I've
Right.
not really taken side jobs, but I've always been kind of just about okay financially. I'm now at a place where I'm like, no, I need to just take a bit of time, focus on like, setting some foundations whilst I'm not living in London, save the money, and things come. I'm not in a rush anymore. I'm really taking the
That sounds
American
good.
nice thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so
What's
yeah,
Bedford
mate.
like? Is it a change of pace?
It is. It's different. I mean, it's not a city. The way that I describe it, like Bedford is a commuter town. That well, no, let me. Bedford isn't shit. That's the way I describe it. It isn't shit. No, like,
Is that on the Welcome to Bedford sign?
well,
You are now
actually,
entering
there's,
Bedford. It isn't shit.
it isn't shit. No, there's Bedford actually has like a really big history. Obviously, Bedford Prison is where John Bunyan wrote the Pilgrim's Progress.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard of that.
Yeah.
And it has like a big music scene. There's a venue there called Esquires, and I think it's like the Rolling Stones. Like, bare people have played their first gigs there. And there's a burgeoning like independent music scene, independent art scene that's picking up. I mean, it has the same thing as most other towns where the high street is kind of what was dying. All of the big brands have kind of left, but that's space for independents to come and do their thing. And I really respect it. Actually, I think it's a way for Bedford to kind of like, find its character again.
Yeah, definitely.
Deep, actually.
That's sort of
And
how
the
it
people
all
are lovely. It's man. And apparently it's the town with the most languages spoken in the UK. So it's super multicultural. People really get on, and it's like a good example of what happens when people live next to each other.
Right, but it's not sort of out till 4 a.m. in a Dalston club every night.
Well, I know my spots. I know my spots. There are some good spots, but also, I mean, it's less chilled. It's more chilled than the way that I see it is that I can go out and have as much fun in Bedford, but there's just less options. And when I come to London, like my stress levels do go up.
Oh, right.
And I really, I'm originally a Londoner, so originally I'm from Walthamstow. I lived in London until I was 9 years old, so it is home. But until I have money, I can't really live here, man. It's mental, bro. Like, every time I step outside my house in London, I'm like, oh, there's £100 just gone. I'm like, wow.
And that's just on coffee. Wait. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, it's a fucking grind as fuck, isn't it? Yeah. I'm nearing the end of my rope. I've been working for fucking 9 months solid this year, like doing acting stuff and voice stuff, which I know I want to talk to you about that as well. But finding that side gig and making it pay. I need a fucking holiday, man. I'm
yeah, tell me about it, man. Well, in a weird way, I think we're in an industry where half the time, especially if you're doing like screen stuff, you can kind of fit your holiday in on your job. You get flown out. So like this year, despite the fact that we've been in a fucking pandemic and the world is supposed to be all crazy, I've travelled more this year than whenever I started my new year in Malta, and I travelled to I had to go to Jamaica for my grandmother's funeral. But
I'm sorry to them.
I've been like here, there, and everywhere, and the work when it's good, it takes you to some amazing places. And,
right. Yeah, and you can sort of find time, carve out time on a shoot to be like, oh, I'm going to go and visit this, and I'm going to go and visit that. But it's not a holiday, though, is it, Theo? It's It's not.
No, that's true. That is true. Yeah, that is very true. You've got to look after yourself. And you're right. You deserve a break. There is something about. I mean, we know this as actors that space affects your your mental, and changing space and going somewhere and just changing your environment is needed. It's so easy to think that the entire world is just the things that you do every day. You know what I mean? And I feel like there's a concerted effort almost to keep you sort of thinking like that. And once you stop it and you look outside and realize that the world is like much larger, it kind of changes your perspective and everything.
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the things that's really suffered from the lockdown and all of the COVID restrictions. Is just that narrowing and closing off, and sealing up borders and telling people to stay at home. That's none of that is good for our broader imaginations and our cultural feelings and connections. And
not at all. And it's one of those things where fear is a very infectious energy, and it can be. I mean, we know it is used in order to manipulate the masses. I mean, I don't blame anyone for doing that. If you're trying to control millions of people, then you do whatever you can to make it as easy for you as possible. But especially for, I think about the kids who are born around this time, and the way that first 18 months of their life, fear was like the highest. Yeah. Well, I say that fear and love were kind of battling it out, but it's just such a strange. I don't know. It's a strange time, man. I don't. Yeah. Don't really know what I'm saying, but.
No. I get it though, because I was talking to my aunt. She lives in Canada now, and they recently changed the rules there. So now she teaches like kindergarten age, right? So they're a little bit older, like 3, 2, kind of 4, maybe.
3.5.
That kind of age. But like the age where the first 18 months, kind of you're a bit of a like. What do you call it? It's just you're a munch, right? Like you're soaking up stuff, but you're not putting it in the long-term memory. It goes in and then out, and some of it stays. But like the more stuff that's staying is like, how do I use my finger? How do I breathe without dying? But like when they're like 3 or 4, that's like no, they're learning language, they're learning communication, social cues, all of that stuff. And she's just been told now she has to wear a mask all the time she's teaching them. And I'm just thinking, like you were saying, like what's the impact long term on these kids who don't get to see facial expressions, who don't get to read thoughts and behaviors and subtle cues that we all need to pick up on in order to live. It just has to be detrimental.
There is no way it can't be, but then okay. I'm going to go on a slight tangent.
Great.
But I think this will make sense. So I've been very interested recently in AI and the way that it kind of controls most of our lives at the moment. I'm trying to link that up with the stuff that I started. But really, for me, all of this started with Snowden.
The leaks, the NSA
release.
Stuff. Yeah,
man. And watching Citizen 4 and realizing that, like, oh my God, yes, my credit card data is linked up with my location data, which is linked up with my metadata from my phone calls. And if you link all of those things together, then, I mean, I don't have privacy. And, especially with the pandemic stuff as well, the last bit of information that isn't, I mean, it's more available in the US, but less so here, whereas your medical data. Because once they've got that, they can, if they know how ill you are or whatever, because all of this is still advertising. Like, I sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I think
we all do now, though.
It is. Well, yeah, man. How are you supposed to know anymore?
Yeah.
You don't. And the thing is that it has to be that complex, I think. Otherwise, how do these complex systems work? Like
the trick is
the world as it is now.
The trick is trying to say the correct points without using any of the sort of wake up sheep type. That's never gonna. But like my uncle, he's quite a rational guy. He's refusing to get the vaccine, and it's all about like privacy and stuff and. Your rights, and he doesn't want to have a vaccine passport and shit like that. And it's like on one level he's right, like they have taken just a whole bunch of things that we used to be able to do and said you can't do them anymore. And on another level he's also right, because genuinely it looks like it's going to be, if you don't have your vaccine and this QR code, good luck getting into a restaurant, good luck going out to the cinema, whatever. That looks like the way it's going.
I mean, I hear that, but legal challenge will stop that. And I think...
Do you think so?
And sorry, I will let you finish. Yes, because that can't run. You know, and I think the game is you push as hard as you can in the knowledge that at the end you will have to go back on all of this. But in the meantime, you've pressured enough people that it doesn't matter and you don't need it. Like, that's the game. It's a huge manipulation, because like in terms of human rights law, like what are they? That's a two-tiered that's fascism. That can't run.
Yeah, but the thing is, right, is like we have a majority government who's no longer bound by international codes, and British law is basically sort of like whatever you want to make of it.
So what you're saying, sorry to interrupt, but I mean, so the fight is against fascism. You know, it can't run. It cannot run like that.
I hope so.
On the science of it, I totally agree with the vaccine to a point.
Same.
To a point. That the manipulation and the fucking you know, there's foul play that if you just let it run like that, then it will just run like that, and then suddenly we're fucked. And I know I sound like an anti-vaxxer, like crazy man as I say the words, but do you know what I mean? Like, they're right on some points. That you know, nothing is black and white. I think that's the key thing. We live in a time where everything needs to be black and white, and it's not. It's not at all. And yeah, there has to be nuance and all of that. So
I agree. It sounds like we're trying to outdo each other to be anti-vax, even though we're probably both vaxxed. So it's like, what the fuck's going on here? I guess one more point on it, and then we can move on, because I'd be interested to hear your take on it. It's like, I wonder. You said about like it has to come back eventually. It's like I felt that way. You talked about Snowden. I felt that way when that leaked, or when the 9/11 happened and they changed all of those things and took away more. But the pattern just seems to be, once they've got the power, they never give it back.
Yeah, of course. Like, I mean, power begets power.
Yeah.
And once you have it, the more you have of it, the more you have to lose.
Yeah.
You've become like, imagine you're God and somebody wants to take you. You're never going to give that up.
Well, exactly.
And at this point, there are people who are God. The Musks and Bezoses and Gates and this. They're fucking God, man.
Yeah.
They can do whatever, and that's the power of the human mind. If you have the resources, you do whatever you want. Yeah. But I mean, it does. One way or another, it collapses because we don't have infinite resources, and we also now know that we have the capability, and everyone could be fine. There's enough for everyone, and there are many examples of what is it? There's one CEO who he was I think multi-billionaire, and in his company he decided to stop taking any profit for himself. And he gave everyone in the company the same salary. I think it was like $400,000. Productivity went up, and the company shot up in value. Everybody was happier. So these sorts of things, people understand it, and it makes, from laws of nature, it makes sense. Share, because fucking humans only have power in numbers. When we're all strong, when people are weak, then we're all stronger. You get what I mean?
Yeah. And
I feel like that has. There's no other way. It's either that or, I don't know, welcome to the fucking dystopia that we've all been.
Yeah.
That the first killer autonomous robot exists now, right?
Well, is this Cambridge? Is it Boston, one of those Boston robots?
Maybe, but there's one in the field that executes the kill action without human intervention. So intervention, it just... Yeah, so Terminator exists, fucking the AIs will either take over and destroy us or keep us, or, something else. But I don't know, I think the world is changing quicker than we think, and maybe it's already too late. Maybe it is. And all we can do is fucking live for everyone and be good and live out the end.
Jesus Christ, I didn't know killer robots were out there. What are they doing?
Oh yeah, that's it. This is what I mean. And if I know about it, that means there's other shit.
I've seen those. I've seen the videos of the dog robots that they've made. They look terrifying. Yeah. It just feels like, why are we building these armor-plated steady killer machines.
Yeah.
What's the plan here? What is that for the good of humanity or something else?
Have you heard of Neuralink?
That's the Elon Musk thing where you get a chip in your brain.
Yeah, you've seen the monkey? They like trick it with some banana juice and then it plays Pong with its mind. Fucking, what the fuck? What? The future is now. So, yeah. What the fuck?
And that's just the stuff they're showing us, right? So it's like...
Exactly. There's one book, if I can recommend one book.
Yeah.
It's called Physics of the Future by Michio Kaku. He's like one of the authors of string theory. And he did a journey, like talking to lots of scientists in different fields about their predictions for the near future, mid-future, and hundreds of years in the future. And I think this book came out in like 2010. I remember reading it whilst I was at Drama Centre. So
right.
Either 2010 or 2011 or something like that. And the fucking predictions are on point.
Really? So the short term ones have already come true, and then it's like
and some of the mid-term ones are coming early. So he's on the money, but he knows his shit.
Oh my god! Wow. Well, we went down the rabbit hole straight away, didn't we?
Really did, yeah. Can't go there sometimes, though. Now we can, swim gently back up to the surface.
Shall we? Yeah. Well, how have you been anyway, dude? Apart from burning the candle and getting tattoos.
The last. I went to Jamaica for a month in mid-June to mid-July for, I suppose, a sad occasion, but in the end, a very gloriously needed trip. My grandmother passed away.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
It was my last surviving grandparent, and unfortunately, I planned to see her the previous year, but COVID happened, so I couldn't make it. And I was the only one from my family who could make the trip, so I went. Luckily, I just finished working on Touching the Voids. Like, we came back for a few shows to do live streaming and stuff, so I had a bit of cash. Money was there. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go. So I booked my flights. Went there for a month, stayed in the house that she died in, actually, which was not fucking crazy, but that's she built that for us as well, so it was really nice to be in that. To be honest with you, like, I was coming out the side of probably like the worst depression I've ever had.
Really?
Yeah.
What was it? Just the general malaise of the world affecting you, and obviously personal
tragedy?
It
was a lot of things, bro. And then when the pandemic hit, I was, so I just finished my West End debut. I was still understudying. I was in town, loving life, living the London life.
Yeah, we've got that in common, because I was just starting my West End debut and you were just finishing yours, and it was just like, I was like, Theo, we're like two ends of the spectrum here. So yeah, we must have had a similar experience. But yeah, sorry, carry on. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's all right. No worries. So, it felt right. And then I was doing a job. So I finished on the West End, went to go and do costume for a foundation. And then I came back from Ireland. And thankfully, I had moved myself back into my parents' house. But boom, lockdown hit. I was like, okay, 3 months, this is fine. Work, do this, that. And obviously, as the time went on, it just felt like one after the other. Like, my work just dropped, and my social life obviously went. And then I was in a long distance relationship, which was kind of broke down a few months into it as well. And so all my things just kind of felt like I couldn't see a way out, really, and I've had in the past I've had a problem with sort of eating disorders, basically, and I went really far that way, and it's got to the point where I'll say it in the middle. I really tried to leave. I really tried, and it didn't work. And I called some of my dearest friends, and one of them, Ben Alberton, he told me, like, after something like this, there's a reason why you stay then, and this is the beginning of it. I don't know. It was fucking like, it was 100%.
Yeah.
And so since that point, I've been kind of slowly working to rebuild myself. It's felt like learning who I am again and learning what the emotions are. Because, depression is less like feeling sad and more feeling nothing. And then when I started eating again and doing stuff again and moving again and fucking all that, like, it takes a while to recalibrate and be like, okay, this is what this means, this is what this feeling means. And to learn that, like, emotions are fleeting, you don't have to go with them. Right. So I've been on this mad, like personal journey, and then started the new year on a job in Malta. Fucking, I was like, what the hell? I was in a 5-star hotel. I had to quarantine for 14 days. They gave me like drinks and food and like all these things. Like once you surrender and go through your shit and trust yourself. I don't know. Have you ever read The Alchemist?
But Paulo Coelho.
Paulo Coelho, yeah. And I can't remember the full quote, but there's a bit that's basically like, the universe will, if you listen to the omens and put out what you want, the universe will conspire to make all things happen for you if you're putting out good energy. And that's what I'm doing. And so since the new year, it's been a continual driving upwards, which has been great. And Jamaica, like, cemented all of that shit in my culture. Like, I'm half Nigerian, half Jamaican, and I know my Nigerian side much more. So it was nice to be in the Jamaican culture, especially at a time where I was like, I just need to, like I was saying about being in a new space and being with people who don't know you but love you. It helped me to be like, yes, I am actually all right. I knew it, but now I know it, and I got so much from that. And then I come back from that with like, just fucking energy, bro. So I'm having a good time now. I'm trying to be, I don't know, I'm 29, I turned 30 in April, so I've got about 6 months left of this, and I'm trying to like set some fucking foundations for the 30s. I had fun in my 20s, but I've got to turn some fucking hours.
It all starts to change once that clock ticks over. Yeah, the grey hairs multiply or fall out.
Don't you dare. Don't even. That's a far away. No.
Oh, you think you can fight it, sonny boy? Just you wait.
No, listen, I will age gracefully, but black don't crack, family. I've got time.
I'm not saying it cracks, but you can age like wine or you can age like fruit. It's up to you, man. Like you take your choices.
Yeah. True. This is why when I go to play, I need to go to Bedford and get out of London because it's making me like fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear about that. That darkest moment. That sounds really, really intense. Oh, what time for that to happen? See if I can get him back. Oh. Hello.
Hello, mate.
There we go.
Hello. So sorry, I
That's all right.
pressed my headphone by accident.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Could we though take like a 5-minute break so I can take a piss, have a cigarette, and come back in?
Yeah. No worries.
And when I have to get on a train. If I get on a train by 12:30, then I'll be fine. So can we do 1 more hour and then?
Yeah, I could probably do about half an hour more. So we got plenty of time to chat about whatever. Yeah.
Perfect.
All right, just let me know when you're done. Yeah,
cool.
All right, nice. Bye.
The bliss of the abyss.
Can you hear me all right?
Huh?
Can you still hear me okay?
Oh, yeah. Bad time to say huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you all right, man. Yeah. You good to carry on?
Yeah, I'm outside.
Oh, yeah, outside.
Well done. Very well done. I'll come back. Yeah.
See you later. Have a good day.
You too. Yeah, go for it, mate.
Okay, cool. Well, like, feel free to ask me to cut this bit out, but I think I'd be remiss not to say that I'm very glad that you are still here and that you didn't go through with what you're talking about. I actually had a friend who did a similar thing, a different way, but tried to leave during the height of all of this fucking craziness, and a load of shit happened to him all at once as well. And I think we're not designed to have so many things happen all at once. You know, if we were in our natural state as humans, that wouldn't happen. We'd be protected by our small group that we'd be living in, but we live in this crazy fucking world where a million things come at you all at once. And I think it's easy to get overwhelmed, but like you said, we are not our emotions. We are just a body, and our emotions come and go in us. And there's real strength in realizing that and trying to move forward, knowing that.
100%. I totally agree. Thank you for saying that as well. I think it's one of those things. The worst part of depression is that it makes you feel like you're the only one.
Yeah.
Feeling it. You're the only one feeling it. And once you start opening yourself, and you realise, I mean, the two things, because it doesn't help when people say, "Oh, everyone has it," and it's a natural thing to say, but that's not what you need. You just need to know that people are there for you.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. You know, understanding that actually, like, yes, all, like, it's our natural inclination to look after each other. That's our thing. We live in a society that tells us, like, nah, fuck everyone, just think about yourself. And it's not natural, bro. And that's why we're all so fucked, because we feel it every day. Every single fucking day. So,
yeah,
I'm all about the good vibes, man. That's
good,
it.
man.
Love is the highest vibration. We keep going that way.
That's
it.
it.
Powerful,
That's
it. It'll be all right.
Yeah, man. Because we are, like you said, we're all like, yeah, society's fucked and we're not meant to live this way, but we're all in this boat together. So we can help each other through the mayhem and through the craziness. And someone, no matter who you are, there is someone there for you. You might not feel like there is, but trust me, there is. Trust me, there is. And
100%. The world is so much, you know, it's weird because we live in a time where the world is like super small, right?
Yeah.
But it's fucking massive. Yeah. And, you know, this is why I get so passionate about the technology stuff, is that it runs more of the world than you imagine. And it's deliberately seamless and kind of invisible. And it's like, it's creating echo chambers and weird spaces that don't really exist. But, you know, humans, our reality is what we believe it is. That's it. So if you start believing bullshit, then yes, the world will be bullshit. We have to keep, you know, telling stories to each other, reminding each other that the world is more than just your perception.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So much more.
And like you said, it's not binary, is it? Like that's those stories, all of the best stories ever. They always show the complexity of anything. You know, any victory is never an all and out victory, and any loss is never a full loss. There's always some extra layer of complexity because, like you said, the world is so fucking massive, and it can seem small when you can jump in a plane or you can get in a car and you'll be somewhere that would have taken you 4 weeks to get to if you were walking in a matter of hours, and it's like, well, there we go. But like, the reality of the world is like, yeah, if the gas ran out, if the car stopped working, it's still going to go on. And then now it is going to take you 4 weeks. And I think we all need to remember that, like, that's why connections with each other matter so much. And that's why, thank God you picked up the phone, you chatted to your bro, and you got a different perspective. And that's one way that technology does enable us to be closer. And that's a fucking great thing, man. And like things like, you know, FaceTime or whatever, you know, not to pick a brand, but like the fact that we're able to have those connections is absolutely amazing. But like, we can trick ourselves into thinking that they're a substitute for the real thing, and then you might find yourself even more isolated. And I think that's one of the worst sicknesses we have in society, is that feeling of isolation and that you can't do anything about it, the helplessness alongside it. And good for you for recognizing that and making a change, and then thank God it's starting to pay off, you know. Yeah,
man. Amen to that.
yeah. Anyway, I got all passionate. But like, tell me about your experiences of, you know, your West End debut, because like I said, we were doing it at the same time. And I've talked endlessly on this thing about mine, so you don't need to hear about mine. But people might not have heard your story, so why don't you tell everyone a bit about that story?
For sure, man. Well, this was my first understudy job. The Touching Boys work. So the show is a show about the power of the human spirit. It's the show, the story of Joe Simpson, a young climber in the 80s who went to Peru and climbed a mountain called Sula Grande. Never climbed it his way before. He went with one of his best friends. He went with his climbing partner. He's climbed some places in the Alps before that. But they just went to do this one big route. They make it all the way to the top, but on the way back down, Joe falls and breaks literally half of his body. And at this point, the man should be dead. But due to the sheer ingenuity and genius of these two guys, they come up with a system to get him down the mountain. And they're almost there. They almost make it. And Joe falls off the edge of the cliff into a crevasse and is alone. He should be dead. Again. But somehow this man finds it within himself to fucking drag himself back to the base camp, and he gets there just before his friends are going to leave, and it's a nice true story. And so the show takes some artistic license. It brings in his sister as a character so that you have some like way into his mind, because he's delirious. It's different. It's a very theatrical telling. And there's a documentary actually, a documentary which came out years ago.
Yeah, I was about to say, because there was a film, so it's a documentary, is it? Yeah, I remember it's sort of early 2000s kind of thing.
Yeah, somewhere around there. The documentary is incredible. And so, for me, the show, I was understudying Richard, who was kind of like the storyteller type character. Really good part for me. And in a way, because I started that job, again, sort of on a low one. So for me, like being able to understudy took the pressure off, but I'm still working.
Yeah.
The part was good for me, and I knew at least I would get, the understudy running maybe a couple of weeks. And so, just being back in town for one was incredible. For two, like that company is a bunch of lovely people. Fiona Hampton, I don't know if you know her, she's at Charlton. She plays Sarah, the sister of Joe. And that woman is, I learned so much from her. A straight up, consummate professional, comes in, does the work, looks after herself, still has fun, a joy to be around. And on the second round, we'll talk about the West End first. It was quite a long run. We started November, finished in February. I got on like New Year's. It was like the show there, Christmas Eve, and I flew out to Paris and like at Christmas in Paris, came back and then did my part again. So it was kind of one of those moments for me that was like, yes, I'm definitely in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
I'm doing the right thing, and it showed me that I'm ready to no longer be understudying and carry the ship, because it was quite frustrating, to be honest. But when I'm not doing Richard, I was a dead climber, sort of doing movement stuff, moving set, and it's lovely. The energy of like feeling an audience every night is fantastic. But we're actors, and we love characters, and being behind a mask is a challenge. It's cool, but it's not what I really got into this to do. So I had to kind of push through that and my stamina and my focus and energy to do that. But then that's when being amongst a bunch of people who are really great. For me, there were two other understudies. Andy Sellers, who I swear to God, so this guy understudied both of the climbing parts. And so when we were rehearsing, he would like be rehearsing both, sometimes having scenes with himself. Like the sheer strength, determination, and like talent of that kid, just fresh out of drama school. Andy's a G, and then Holly Carpenter, one of the loveliest Welsh women I know. No, I'd just say women, hands down. Like Holly Carpenter is a legend. And See, the problem with understudying is that you have no guarantee that you'll ever go on. So she did all the work, and unfortunately, she only got the understudy one, and she smashed that. I mean, yeah, she's so talented, and so understudying it's great, it's good. I would never say to somebody don't do it once. It's a lot, and
Yeah, because
especially
you have to gear
well.
yourself
like,
up.
God, if I was on, if I was on, I'd be killing this, and boom, and
Yeah.
you have to manage your emotions, just keep yourself on point, and you never know when it's coming, so you're always on your toes and stuff, and it's nice, but I think that season is but going back to Fiona, sorry, because the second time, so over the pandemic, she had a child, and so for the second, we came back to do 4 shows, like live streams, and I think they kept them for broadcast later. But she, her son is like very young, like very barely, and she was doing shows. Her mother came to sort of help with childcare and stuff. But she was going in lunchtime, going to DC with that. Like, man, that is something straight. I have nothing but admiration for that. It's proper, really.
I mean, the strength and resilience of people is just humbling, isn't it? It's incredible what people can do.
It really is,
Yeah, massive respect. Yeah. I've never done the understudy thing, but I've done similar sort of. I view them as sort of like ladder things, because people think about like a normal quote unquote career. It's like, okay, you go in, you get in as sort of a junior level, and you work your way up, and you come in bottom of the totem pole, and by the end you're like executive CEO, and then you retire, kind of thing. And acting obviously doesn't have that same thing, but we have analogues to it. Do you know what I mean? Like for example, early on in my career, I did some what they call supporting artist work, which is everyone knows it as extras, right? Which is like that's like a rung below understudy on the West End for sure. But it's one of those like ladder experience. Dude, I'll tell you the story, right? So one of them, I did it on one job, and then after that I was like, oh god, I'm never doing this again. But it was like a few days on this one job, and it was called, what was it called? Not Touching the Void, but had Dancing on the Edge. It was this Stephen Polyakov drama starring Chiwetel Ejiofor, and like stellar cast, amazing
I've seen
director.
that.
Yeah,
and he plays like the jazz thing.
That's the one.
Yeah.
So if you look very carefully, you might see me as chef number 14 or whatever.
Oh, mate, I'm going to look out for you. I love that show. So
Well, I could never watch it, and I'll tell you why. What happened is, like, there was one of those moments, which is basically what every supporting artist dreams of, because you're hanging around with everyone else, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm an actor. I'm just doing this," and you're like, "Oh fuck, we're all losers." And then you get plucked out, right? The first AD comes over to you and it's like, "You, come on, we're gonna do one with you," and you're like, "Me? It's happening, Hollywood! Here I come!" So they get me on, and I'm gonna be pushing a trolley up a hall. And I'm like, who knows? Maybe this will turn into a speaking part, right? And completely fooling myself. So I grab the trolley, and they're like, they've got the camera on a dolly. It's on the track, moving back, and I'm pushing this tray full of sort of drinks and sandwiches and stuff like that. Push it up, and they go cut. And you see Stephen Polyakov. He's just sort of stroking his chin, looking at me, looking at the shot, and he's like, yeah, okay, let's do it again. So we go back, and this time he's like, can we zoom in like a little bit closer onto the tray, just a little bit? We're a bit wide there. I was like, okay, that's all right, it's fine. So action. So I'm like moving it up, trying to make my hands look good now, hand acting. And it's like cut, and this time the pretense just goes away, and he's like, okay, can we cut him out? Let's just literally the trolley, please. And I'm just like, oh god. And then we did it, and he was like, perfect, that's exactly what I wanted, why didn't we just do that?
Oh god, man. Well,
Humbling.
It's happened to the best of us, so yeah. That's definitely nice. I mean, I've done the whole scene that then you watch the show and you're like, I spent it all day. And then there's, even doctors. I did doctors like recently, like before Christmas. And I was like, I was there for like an entire day, shot like a whole scene. And then they only used my wife and like, can't wait to everything else. I was like, yeah, great. Still got paid though. So
yeah, exactly. You get paid, you get the credit. Like, you know, what more do you want?
And I had a nice day, sort of. It was very cold. That was all I remember, really. It was cold and there was no car to pick me up. That was it.
It's a good ladder one, though. It's a good ladder one.
Great ladder one.
Yeah.
Great ladder one. You've got to do a doctor's, mate. I've got to do one.
But what about? I noticed you've been moving into voice, which is something I started doing when the pandemic hit. You know, I was like you, I was completely fucking knocked aside by it, and then I was like, right, what can I do and stay like creative? So that's where the podcast started, and then from doing the podcast and learning about audio, I was like, hold on, I could see if I can do voice. And then I'm in the point now where I've got this little PC pipe booth and PVC, that's the one. Blankets and stuff, and a little kind of mini studio, and I'm starting, you know, taking it step by step, and it's an interesting, completely different world, like every other niche in acting. You think, oh, it's acting, and then you start to do it, and you're like, it's its own thing entirely. But what have your experiences been with it?
Well, for me, I thought about the voice stuff as a way to have like some control over my career. If that makes sense. Like,
it makes sense.
I can just build my own client book, and I'm trying to, because I'm invested, I'm sort of thinking that I can get something that I do within there. So I try to, this week actually, I'm trying to get in touch with some of the smaller radio stations, try and do some adverts there, and like get in touch with small companies basically that don't have the budget or the
that's the way.
Market themselves like that. Like, you can approach them and solve their problem. And I think I have an entrepreneurial streak within me anyway, so it's kind of a good marriage of the two. But to be honest, most of the voice stuff that I've done has been a recommendation from someone.
Yeah.
You know, like someone has been doing something and has been like, I thought of you or whatever. And, you know, I'm doing a charity one actually for a one-woman show about eating disorders. Someone who works on the stage tour, as I was at the Duke of York thing, watching the voice me the other day. So, you know, things like that, it kind of, it's a bit of a slow burner for me, to be honest with you. But there's a lot of work there, and you can carve out your own niche as well. And, to me, it's like, it's a good way, if you can learn the principles here and then reapply them to your acting career as well, in so much that, you know, you hope that your agent sorts everything out for you. That's great, but I think it's also wise to have some understanding of how negotiation works and how marketing works, and thinking about yourself as much as I hate it, but there is a business thing of you are a brand and blah 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 and this. So I think they're holistic things, and one feeds into the other. So
that's a really interesting point. Yeah. That's something I've learned too. Like, as soon as you start doing it, it's like, oh, this is more like, I'm learning more like, how do I build my own thing here? And like, it's like, I'll find repeat business, find clients that want to work with me, and keep those relationships going. And it's like, it seems like you can then apply it to the others acting stuff, but it seems like in voice, it's like, it's more immediate somehow, and it's like, I can do it, and there are more sort of immediate of the opportunities out there instead of sort of, even though there's probably more competition as well, but there's also sort of more opportunities because there's so many different areas you can work in. Like you said, radio, like I do some radio as well, and adverts or corporates or whatever it is. Like I'm doing an audio book, which is taking me forever because it's so fucking boring. But like, oh mate, it is it's called. Actually, I'm not going to say what it's called, but there's this one.
Don't. Like, tell me after.
Okay.
I mean, I get you though. Like. Yeah. I think it's one of those things that you are totally right. Like, it's the voice is actually used much more than you imagine. When it's done well, you don't even realise that somebody's taken time to do this. You know what I mean? So for actors, I would always advise it. And for me, the most important thing is about learning how to run your self-employed business.
Yeah.
You fucking have to until you take an agent. And
Exactly.
On the side, the kit is like expensive, but you don't have to spend like too much. And then, you know, you keep yourself ticking over. It's a good one. Don't be fucking working in a bar all the time if you can avoid it.
Well, exactly. This is what you were saying at the beginning about like the side gigs and stuff like that. It's like, that's something we all have to do to a greater or lesser extent, depending on how much acting work you've got. But like, I've always had like my tutoring side gig, which is now mainly via Zoom and stuff. So that actually has weirdly freed up more of my time to try and focus on the other stuff. And the voice stuff is like, it's like not a side gig, but it's like an adjacent thing. So you can be creative with it as well as like learning the industry and learning about like a business. But like, it's learning about business in a more exciting way, because like it always, like you said, like I was always turned off by like that brand stuff and that like, you know, optimize your workflow, all that kind of stuff. But like, actually, when you start applying it to something that you're a bit more interested in, you know, then you start to be like, okay, wait, I can take some lessons from this instead of just be turned off by the whole thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's, you know, that's the same shit that it should be doing for us in all like our education. Find the thing that you're interested in, learn the transferable skill, apply it to the thing that you're not interested in education. That's how it works. Like, mate, I get so politicized that fucking, I just can't stand it, man. There's so much that is wrong. So much that is wrong. Fix it, mate.
Yeah. What are we going to do, Theo? Huh? What are we going to do? How are we going to
we're going to tell some stories and inspire the masses and make them know. Tell them. Fucking shout it out. Yeah! Oh yeah.
God.
Well, my band, so I just joined the punk band called Tits Vagabond.
Oh, sick.
So we'll tell them. Yeah.
Fuck yeah. I didn't know you into punk. Me too, bro. Amazing.
Dude, I'm a fucking, yeah.
Who are your favourite punk bands?
Anti-Flag, fucking NoFX, who I saw live last month, and I'm like, yeah, it was fucking insane good. Like, so they played Kill All the White Man to like end the set. Oh my god. I was on a white man's shoulders in the sea of white people.
Yep.
All singing Kill All the White Man. The fucking lead singer like looking at me and like seeing me there and like being like, yeah, and then he was like to me, do you really mean it? And I was like to him, well, not you, you're not really white. And then
you're like, well, I mean, in the moment, hey, also like
in the moment, I mean, but you know that song. No, just to be clear, actually, because that song is not about colour. It's about
no. It's about the fucking systems of domination.
It's about whiteness, which is not about colour.
It's got a wicked reggae start as well. So like, your Jamaican roots that you can flex them, and then you can go all fucking hardcore punk when the second half kicks in. That's a tune.
Yeah. Although, so I'm writing a song at the moment. Oh God. Wow. I'm writing a song called "Jesus Was Fucking Punk." I haven't finished it yet, but I mean, like there's something about the subversive nature of punk music that really.
Dude, Jesus is like
there's a thing. Actually, this is a thing. Yeah, and also like, so a mosh pit is the fucking loveliest place in the world. Like, there's that thing where someone falls, everyone makes sure that that person gets back up. Are you cool? We need to get you out, and then we go back to the chaos, and that's how I want to live. Fucking look after everyone and fucking like listen for it.
Oh, yeah, man. That's wicked. Yeah. That's sick. Tits Vagabond.
Tits Vagabond. Yeah.
Incredible. I fucking love it. It's a bit of your drama centre roots coming in, man. You know what I mean? Like I think that's the most punk drama school of all, for sure.
100%.
Although, what the fuck is happening there? It's all been closed down, hasn't it?
Well, it's about to die, yeah. I mean,
Do you think it's going to fully die? Because they're trying to kill it, aren't they?
no, Drama Centre will never die. Drama Centre is not the building. It's the people and the training. And that training is being taught. I mean, for one, it's the basis of basically all drama school training in the UK anyway. And two, it's now like all over the world, and some people are here on the grapevines. But there's some shit happening there. It's never going to.
Because that would be like a tragedy, like, right? What?
Yeah.
Or are you one of those people who's like,
and,
drama school was horrible, I must destroy all my memories of it?
Nah, drama school was what it was. I got great shit from it. Obviously, there was some mad shit that happened as well.
Yeah.
There were some things that needed to change. Everything should evolve.
Yeah.
It started off much worse and fucking crazy. So I think we were there at the time when they had the balance, and now they need to find what is the 21st century version, what is now version, and what do we not do anymore, because there's definitely a lot of, Trauma Centre is called Trauma Centre for a reason.
Yeah.
There were some things that happened that were not safe. There was some things that were safe and controlled and lovely. Chaos is difficult.
Yeah,
Artistic chaos will always bring, some danger with it, and we have to work harder to protect everyone. But at the same time, that fucking school is, I owe it everything. So, I'll never be one of those.
It's such a tricky one. It's like you said, yeah, chaos is difficult. It's like if you don't, it's like, what's that thing called? Exposure therapy. It's like if you just wrap everything in cotton wool, then you'll be fine until you actually step outside your door and the world hits you in the face. But that doesn't mean you need to fucking flog your students every day, right?
Exactly. And I also think, no disrespect to anyone, but obviously art teachers, especially actors are fucking weird people.
Yeah.
We're not normal. No. And especially when you put in a position of power, that can lend itself to weird things happening and people going down routes that they wouldn't otherwise go down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially in a teaching environment. And yeah, that cannot run. It must be a space where people feel safe to fucking explore. And also, bureaucracy with GSM was never going to allow Trauma Centre to be free the way that it needed to be free. So it has to leave the building at some point, I think. It's just a shame that it's happened this way. That's all I was saying.
Yeah. Well, how do we end on a high after all of the craziness we've talked about? Fucking hell, Theo, this has been such an amazing conversation. We've gone into so many rabbit holes. Loved it.
Yeah. I love it though. I absolutely love it. Thank you very much for asking me to join you.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. My whole vibe is peace and love. And despite the fact that the world is fucking crazy and awful, it's also beautiful, amazing. And you can change, you can make someone's world beautiful every day. And if you try and do that, then we'll all be okay. And fuck the capitalists, man. They don't care about you, so fuck it. That's it.
Fuck yeah. You are punk. Punk as fuck.
Yeah.
Theo, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm glad to hear you're doing well, and I've always been a big fan, man. You keep doing you. Stay in touch and stay well. All right, brother.
Thank you. Oh, can I plug
Yeah, plug away.
So I will be in Foundation, which starts airing on the 24th of September on Apple TV. I pop up in episode 5 for 2 scenes with Luna Bell, who also trained at Drama Centre. She's playing the lead. Fantastic actress. The show looks good. Please watch it. And I've just started in a short film called The Woods for the Trees. So it's like short horror comedy, directed and written by Tom Shiner. It's his debut, and I think he's got something special. It's kind of like in the same vein as Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, kind of trilogy-esque thing. But yeah, man, he's just beginning, and yeah, I really like it.
And of course, I'll link all of that in the episode. And you heard it, people. Go and visit. Get that Apple TV on the go. You know?
Yes, please. Well, I mean, yeah, get it actually, because there are so many good things coming out there. Like, it looks good. And just one final thing, I'm so sorry, but I have to say it. So it's the one-woman show. Just bear with me 1 second. I'm going to take a natural pause here so you can edit.
Nice.
Right. Again. And yeah, sorry, just one more thing.
It's fine.
So in the second week of October, there is a show called Keep It Down. All of the proceeds are going to Pancreatic Cancer UK, and the show talks about eating disorders and one-woman show. Yeah, check it out. I'll send you the details. But yeah, it's one close to my heart. So
Nice.
to support that as well.
Fucking cool. Right. Got anything else to plug? No, I'm only joking.
Mate, I fucking love you, and thank you so much. Like, keep doing this. Yeah, and I hope I can come back sometime.
Absolutely. Welcome back anytime.
Again, when we're both in the West End again, we'll we'll do it again.
Yeah, man.
Be great.
All right. Stay good. I'll chat to you later.
Mate. Much
All right.
love.
Bye.
Bye.
A subscriber and maybe even supporting us on Patreon really helps me continue making this show. If you haven't enjoyed it, then you can fuck off. Many thanks to Nils Hennis Steer for the amazing music and to Dave Fox for the cool artwork. Please keep coming back every week for more Bliss of the Abyss.
Message 1.